everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner, and I have a very special guest who's returning to the corner. Would you like to unveil your not-so-secret identity?
It's me, it's Stephanie, Sheh.
It's me, it's Stephanie! And then there was that pause, and I was like, guys, it's Stephanie. But no, I could just imagine everybody at home. Stephanie. Stephanie. Like, there's a million Stephanies. But this one is special because this is a very princess-like Stephanie, considering the last time we talked, you weren't, the ruler of the moon.
Yeah, I know, right? A lot changes in, I don't know, it's been like a year or two?
Yeah, it's been about a year and a half to 2 years, yeah.
So, same but different.
Well, no, I have to wonder, the feeling of having such a role, because for especially my generation, that was the anime that they got into when they were kids, and they've held it in such high esteem for their entire life.
I know, it's a little daunting. I try not to think about that because it freaks me out and it makes me, I know, good one, Kana. You ruined my day. Just kidding. No, I just try not to dwell on it, and I just try to be really positive about it because I think it's too much responsibility. Also, too, though, it's not like I didn't do that. The franchise did that. The people before me did that. So I'm just really lucky to be able to be a part of it and maybe create more memories, and help the legacy, Sailor Moon legacy, live on in the best way possible. That's like my contribution. But a lot of the stuff that, in terms of people coming up to me, it has a lot to do with like other people's childhoods, and so I just don't want to mess it up, so to speak. Because I know that when you're a kid, sometimes you have a memory of something and then you revisit it as an adult and you're like, oh. And I don't want to be that for other people.
No, I can understand. I have to say, the very first time I watched the new dub, Sailor Moon is still one of my favorite animes of all time. So it was definitely, an adjustment. There was that time period where it's like, okay, I know regardless, there's going to be that time where I'm not sure if I like it or not because I'm so used to what used to be. You know what I mean?
Have you rewatched the old dub as an adult?
Yes, I have.
And does it still feel the same to you as when you were a kid?
Yeah, I mean, well, the only difference is as a kid I didn't notice the voice actor changes because there were definite voice actor changes through the seasons, and the only one that didn't have one was Jupiter, which was Susan Roman. And so I watched Sailor Moon pretty consistently through my life. I would revisit it like almost like a holiday movie, like once a year you have to watch like a movie or an episode or something. So I think it was always kind of constant for me.
Because I had an experience where, like, as a kid, I loved Voltron. I loved Voltron. And then post-college one day, I think, we were at a video store. I don't even know if they still have those anymore. But my friend and I were like, oh my gosh, there was old Voltron episodes, So we're like, let's rent it. It's going to be so much fun. We loved this as a kid. And then we watched it and we're like, oh my gosh. We couldn't watch it. It was so bad. It was like ruining our memory of it. It was like, oh, it's really cheesy. Oh my God, it's kind of silly, and you know what I mean? But that's not how it was in my brain from my memory, but like when I was a kid watching it, so.
I can relate to that. Gem is a very good show that when I go back and watch it, I'm like, oh, this is really 80s. This was before my time. This is... Oh, okay. But it's B-movie cheese. It's great nowadays. I try and look at the positive of it, but it's nice still to see the series being revisited, regardless. Just so, I can share that with my brother's kids, or I can share it with people who might not have given the older series a try.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, no, have you heard responses from people, what people think, and, has it been positive?
I mean, I don't go on the internet. because no, it's not true. I mean, I have my Twitter and I have my Facebook page and I love an Instagram and I like the internet in that sense, but I don't go on message boards um, just because it's just not like it's just not helpful. So if you go on a message board and someone says something positive about you, yay, good. You know what I mean? Like what it doesn't help me in any way other than like making me feel better about myself, but I really shouldn't be looking on the internet to feel better about myself. Do you know what I mean? And then there'll be people who criticize you and say not nice things, and then you feel bad about yourself. And ultimately you feel like this is a colossal waste of time, you know? Like there's like I could be doing stuff more productive. I could be hanging out with my friends. I could be exercising. I could be in acting class. I could be studying my craft. You know, I could do so much more things than just sitting on the internet and reading positive or negative reviews or comments about me. It's not really that helpful, I guess. So I just kind of stopped doing it. So mostly the interactions that I have been with fans at conventions. And so that's mostly been positive because seriously, who's gonna like go stand in the line just to tell you you suck? So so generally the people who are not fans of your work are not gonna go to your face and tell you that. So I've been shielded from that. So I'm sure there are people who have their criticisms, but for the most part, the stuff that I've been exposed to has been all really positive and like very, very positive. And so it's really nice actually. It makes me actually want to do a better job.
No, that's great to hear. I mean, the only time I've really seen people diss a voice actor at a con was unintentionally because they didn't know who that voice actor was. So, which are always great moments to have in your backlog in case you ever need to pull something like that out. But it's nice to see you going to so many conventions. I believe you just got done with Anime Expo.
Yeah, I was guest of honor for the first time ever, so that was kind of neat because my first Anime Expo was I believe '98, and I went as a fan. And then a few years later, I volunteered and was on staff at Anime Expo. And then I've also gone kind of just like as a employee of a company, like when I was a producer and stuff. And so I would like sell things at the booth and run the panels that our company had. So it's interesting to kind of like come full circle. And I can pretty much say I've gone to Anime Expo in almost every single capacity possible.
Yet not a lot of people can claim that.
I know, right?
But that had a big Sailor Moon announcement as well, and I want to remind all the fans out there that Sailor Moon R Season 2 Part 1 is available. There's a limited edition available on Amazon and Right Stuff, and that comes with a 96-page art booklet.
Yeah, you guys should get those because, I mean, Viz and Shar and the whole team over there, they put a lot of work into all the like extras and stuff, and they are the nice thing about it is the team at Viz that works on it, they are fans, true fans of the show. So they get excited and they basically think, what would I want? You know, let's do this. And so that's why it's always really great stuff.
Definitely. And I want to remind the listeners as well, you've been announced as returning to a role you haven't done in quite a while, which is Mikuru.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm really grateful that a lot of these shows have more and more, have more, I guess, staying power now. So now I feel like, oh, you never know. There might be a sequel all of a sudden.
Well, no, it must be nice to revisit that character because she to me kind of I guess when I think of your voice, when I think of you playing a character, the first thing that pops into mind is Mikuru. I'm not exactly sure why, it just does.
Interesting.
It's probably because I had such a fascination with that character when Haruhi Suzumiya was new. Like, I have like 6 or 8 figures of that character alone. So, yeah.
Quite attractive.
She's really adorable. I liked how the contrast of that character in the show, because you had, someone so headstrong like Haruhi, and everyone had like their own, you know, agenda, and Mikuru is kind of has her agenda, but she's kind of hopping along trying to like sort through all of the strangeness.
Right, totally.
So have you gotten a chance to like center yourself and get back to doing that character? Has that or you know, like what process are you revisiting the character?
She's very. I mean, she's an easy one to tap into. So it was pretty. It was pretty seamless. The only thing is, you know, as true Haruhi series form is like it took a little while to be like, wait, what is going on? But that happens all the time. You know, it's always like anytime they have a new season, even the first season, you're like, this isn't. What's the story? Why is it out of order? You know, like they always do something strange like that. So that was the only weird thing. But in a way, it's still kind of also expected because that's just how that show is.
Yeah, I remember the very first time watching Haruhi Suzumiya and being like, I think there's a plot, but I don't know. And then you don't find out what the plot is until like the last episode.
Yeah, I know, right?
But no, the fan base for that is definitely still strong, so it's nice to see it returning.
I know, it's super super nice. I'm really glad that that they did that, and I like that the movies are pretty unique and interesting because lots of times when a movie version comes out of something, it just is the same stuff retold in movie form, and I think it's pretty cool that like a lot of the other Haruhi stuff is very different and it's like new stories or a new spin on a story.
Yeah, definitely. And for the fans out there, because I know some of the people in our live chat are clamoring for the links for the Sailor Moon R thing, I will be linking that in the chat in a second, and we're going to take a short break here on 91.8 The Fan, but don't go anywhere because our special guest isn't, so keep it tuned to your favorite station where you play everything you want and nothing you don't. Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. My special guest is still here, alive and breathing, I promise. See? She's alive. I told you.
I'm breathing!
But for the fans out there, you know, obviously you've been heading to a lot of conventions. Do you have anything planned for the rest of the year?
Yes, I have. Let's see. Oh, geez. Okay, first things first. The most immediate thing is tonight is the Moonlight Party. Number 4, is it? So I don't know if anyone's ever attended. You attend via the internet, and it's just basically a bunch of people at Viz who we watch Sailor Moon at the same time, and they have a lot of fun antics, and it's actually really cool, and they'll play different videos and talk about different stuff, and then you can interact with them, I think via Twitter. But yeah, so Viz does that every once in a while, at any time there's a new release. So that's tonight is the Moonlight Party, and I know that all of the actresses for Sailor Moon, including the New Guardians, are getting together at Sailor Jupiter's house to do the same. So they will be tweeting and watching at the same time and participating in that way. So tonight is the Moonlight Party. If you guys are not doing anything, I won't be in attendance because I sprained my ankle really badly and I can't leave the house. So that sucks. But that's the most immediate thing. And then I think, let's see, next weekend I'm not really an official guest, but I'll be moderating the Q&A panels in Hawaii at, hold on, I'm just pulling it up so I don't mess it up. And Comic-Con Honolulu. That's the official name of the convention.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know, right? So, but I'm really there just working. They have a bunch of really great guests from TV and sci-fi stuff, and so I'll be helping to moderate the panels. And And then I think the weekend after that, I will be at NomCom in Ireland.
Gosh, just that international travel seems like so much fun. It seems like everybody's either going to Scotland or Ireland lately in the voice acting world.
Oh, really? This is my first time ever, so I'm very excited. Um, and then in September, I will be at AWA, Anime Weekend Atlanta, and my dog is also a guest.
Wait, is there a specific reason why? I'm sure your dog's adorable.
Well, I tweet a lot about my dog, so like I guess people like my dog. I have no idea. He got invited to this convention along with me. He's laying on the ground right now, totally ignoring me. Like,
Have you ever
I have
actually
no idea.
taken your dog to a con?
No, well, last year, like the last day of Anime Expo, I didn't go there that day, but I went there like kind of like when the convention was kind of already closing. So I walked around outside with him. And actually, a few people I heard like pointed at him and said, "Oh, look, it's Ippudo." Like people I'd never met before, which was a little creepy and weird. So I was like, "Oh, I guess they're on my Twitter." But yeah, so that's the extent of him going to a convention. He's never actually gone to a convention. I don't know. He's a rescue dog and he can get a little skittish. I'm most worried about the plane trip, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a whole new experience because obviously they should have their shots all the time anyway, but their shots need to be in compliance and then you have to have them in a carrier and I don't think you can have them on board with you, so
I think he's a small dog, so each airline has a different rule. And I think the airline that we're taking, he just can't exceed 20 pounds and he doesn't. So he can be under the seat.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. At least he'll be with you.
Yeah. So.
Well, for the fans out there that want to keep up to date with any other events you have, happening, obviously, you mentioned your Twitter, but you have a Facebook as well, right?
What? Can you repeat that?
I said for the fans out there who, want to keep up to, any events that you're going to along the year. You have your Twitter, which you mentioned, but you also have a Facebook too. What other social media do you have?
Oh, it's mostly my Twitter, which is at Stephanie Sheh, and then my Instagram, which I think is 2Sheh, the number 2, and then my name. And then there is a Facebook page, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure the fans will follow you there and keep up to date with what you're doing. Is there anything else you'd like to tell them? Any words of wisdom, dating advice, or promotions for upcoming material?
I have no. Oh my gosh, that was like just flung at me. I am not an expert in any of those things.
That's the point.
No, I don't know. They should give me dating advice and words of wisdom, I think, instead.
Well, just so you know, we have that at the end of all of our interviews, so if you ever want some extra dating advice.
Good stuff.
So if you ever want some extra dating advice, you could always listen to the end of other interviews.
Have you gotten really great dating advice from other voice actors?
Some of it's been really good, like be yourself or, make sure that communication is key. And some of it's been like, make sure you change your underwear and that you're paying enough money and various other things like that. So it's, you win some, you lose some.
Interesting. All right, well, I will have to check those out.
Fantastic. And it was very nice to get a chance to talk with you again. Hopefully you feel better because we want you to be able to walk. That's always important.
Yes.
And for the fans out there that missed any of this interview, don't fret. You can find it on the website within the next few days. So keep your eyes peeled to 918thefan.com and your ears tuned to 91.8 The Fan, where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.